Well, hi. As you've probably just seen, Becky Green, who has just shared with us some of her questions for our 5 question testimony. And here I am, and I want to introduce to you our new host, who is in fact Becky Green. Hi, Becky.
Hi, Paul.
So, in lots of conversations I've been having with various people, we've decided that you're probably fed up of seeing me and hearing my voice. And it'd be really nice if, when we did these 5 question testimonies, they were introduced by someone other than me. So, I'm still going to do a few, but Becky's going to help me out and she's going to get involved. And we thought it'd be nice, by way of an introduction, if for the first one, she actually interviews me. So, sorry, but you're going to be stuck with a bit more of my face and a bit more of my voice. But this is our first attempt with Becky introducing the 5 question testimony. So I'm going to hand over to Becky now. Over to you, Becky.
Thank you, Paul. I'm really looking forward to learning more about you today. So, Paul, where did you grow up?
Well, I actually was born in Wales, in Swansea, but my parents moved to Dorchester when I was 7, and I really can't remember anything before that. So I'm pretty much born and bred Dorchester. My wife Louise was born in Dorchester, and this has been our home for as long as we can remember.
That's lovely. And how did you come to know the Lord?
Well, like a lot of people, I grew up in a Christian home. Actually went to the Baptist church as a small boy. And then as I got older, I moved away to Exeter, did various things. And, we've heard the term many times, haven't we? Drifted away. But that was the classic story for myself. And then I was about 27 at the time, and Louise saw an advert for a local church that had just started. And we went to this church plant. We went to a village hall in Broadmain, and there were 12 people in there. And as I walked in, I remember saying to Louise, I said, whatever you do, don't tell them your name. Don't tell them where you live. Don't tell them anything about you. I was very skeptical about what these people were. But I have to say, they were brilliant. They were really welcoming. They were really supportive of us. And it was about the 3rd week of being at this little church, as I say, just 12, 13 people. And I really knew that I needed to be serious about my faith, that it was time for me to start to commit myself again. And on that 3rd Sunday at this new church, I actually went forward and said to the guy who was leading it, I'd like you to pray with me. I just want to turn my life around, and I want to get serious about that stuff. It was a few years ago now, and I haven't looked back since.
That's brilliant. Well done. It's lovely to hear. What do you enjoy doing most with your time?
Well, I think there's a bit of a theme that runs through these questions when we've been doing them, but I'm no different than most of us, really. I just love being with other people. So I like walking, cycling, kayaking. I run a little bit to stay fit. But the thing I enjoy most is time with friends. Going to the pub, having meals together, as I say, walking, those things. That would be my favourite thing. I remember, when it's birthdays and special occasions, and Louise will always say to me, okay, well, it's your birthday coming up, what do you want to do? I never have to think about that. My favourite thing is getting a bunch of friends around the house with some food, glass of wine, a few beers, and getting the family involved in those things. That's absolutely my favourite thing. Something I'm looking forward to one day being able to do again.
Indeed. So how are you finding COVID-19 has affected you?
Well, it's been a mixed bag, really. I'm very busy doing various things with the website, as people have seen, various things with the different guys that I'm connected with. And what's been really interesting to me is the fact that actually I'm spending probably more time connecting with my friends, connecting with groups of guys that potentially, don't go to church, don't share the faith that I have. And there seems to be a desire in people to have those connections. Where we're perhaps isolated a lot of the time, people are thinking to themselves, actually, I just want to just to see someone else, just to talk to someone else. And so a lot of my time now is spent on Zoom chats and connecting up with people. So I've been really busy. My daughter Megan and her boyfriend Jack have moved back from university, and they're staying with us at the moment. And I have to say, I'm one of the lucky ones that have just been blessed with having family around. Megan and Jack do a lot of cooking, they do a lot of cleaning, so the house has never looked tidier. I'm kind of enjoying that. So yeah, it's been okay for me.
Brilliant. And is there any scripture that you think might help us at this time?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I know other people have said the same. Usually, because I'm quite often preparing for sermons and for talks, whichever bit of scripture I'm looking at that time is usually one that sort of resonates with me. But actually, there was one scripture years and years ago that really spoke to me, and I think it's relevant for this time. It comes from Joshua 5:13. Let me read the scripture to you. It says this: "Now when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and he asked, 'Are you for us or for our enemies?' 'Neither,' he replied." Now that, I think, probably seems like a bit of a strange scripture. But that scripture has always spoken to me about how limited my understanding of God is and of God ways. And in that story, he says to him, "Are you for me or against me?" It's kind of like there's only two options. And then he says, "Neither." And I find myself going, I just can't get my head around it. And I know at the moment with so much going on, there's so many of us that are thinking, I don't understand all this stuff. And I have to say, nor do I. And so often in the Bible, when I read stories, and so often my own experience has been, I don't really understand what God's doing a lot of the time. But God's so much bigger than our understanding. And that scripture, actually, in those times when life's hard and I don't understand, I'm always reminded of that scripture. When I think it's either this or it's either that, actually, God sometimes has bigger things in mind than what I can understand. So I find that helps me.
That's great, Paul. Thank you for your time, and it's been lovely to have you on the other side of the questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Becky. I'm looking forward to handing some of this over to you. I know it's going to be great. So thanks so much.
Thanks.